Okay, what we have here is a Mugo Pine. Oh, it's one of the best if you, well, then I'd be bragging. But I don't see a whole lot of Mugo Pine that's this big with this kind of style. So let's go ahead, let me toot my horn anyway. But I gotta get this ready because there's a good possibility that this could be gone too. Okay, so I've got this, I've been wheeling and dealing, trying to get rid of my inventory, and found somebody that has great taste, but more importantly, not afraid to spend money. So yes, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. But because it's outside and in this great bonsai pot that is huge, I can't turn it. I'll end up breaking the legs unless I could pick it up and turn it. And it's just too heavy for me to do that. So I'm just going to leave it here and then move my camera around. Hopefully you get a decent angles. Okay, so I'll go ahead, get started on this Mugo Pine. Probably pushing 40 years now. I think I bought this as a landscape material before I even opened my nursery, so it's probably 40. Oh, Mugos are basically the same technique as the black, but they have the advantage of able to back bud. So you can make a few mistakes and it's okay. Versus on the blacks, if you make a mistake or two, it may not come back. So anyway, what I'm doing is taking off these biggest one and cutting it down to a smaller one down below. So if there's nothing small down below, maybe it's best not to cut it, although it does have the potential to back bud. But I hate to say it's always going to back bud. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Mugos are good in that they have natural short needles, but the way they grow it commercially, it has too many trunks. So trying to get it to a single trunk and then start to make a bonsai out of it, it takes a while. Oh, one of my little stories, right? I came back from Japan, and in one of those major gardens, they had this big Mugo. Well, it was, I think, a couple hundred years old. Anyway, I wanted to create that style. So I took my mom's in the garden Mugo and applied the first technique. Cut it down to the very basic. I took off like 90%. Well, don't do that, people. It died. Mom was not happy with that. Yeah, well, you know, especially when that was out of college, went to Japan, I was so full of myself that, yeah, I did it. And then, so now it's like very humbling. Maybe I'm cutting off too much. No, I found that these that's well trained, yeah, they'll take it. But if you have raw material you buy from a nursery, stick to more like 1/3 off when you need to take half off for future bonsai. So what you got to do is pace yourself. Or you could be like me, be cocky. Young Hero was a very cocky guy. I'm still is, sort of, but not as bad as I used to be. So anyway, yeah, nothing like a failure to teach you. So go ahead and do your thing your way, and then later on you could tell your grandkids, hey, don't do it like that, because Grandpa did it and it didn't work well. I think the best lesson in life is failure anyway. Okay, what I saw was this in here, and it was kind of making this area weak. So I took that out. I don't think we're going to miss it. And then which hopefully we'll get sunlight. Oh, it's also was interfering with this. This should be more going flat like that, right? So anyway, that's what I just did. Took that big one out. Okay. So like this one here, we see a small green, so I'm going to cut it to here. And then most likely it'll back bud, but I don't like to count on it. Evidently, I'm on the commercial airline flight path. That's why you could hear these big jets out there. Yeah, not that far from the airport. When my kids drive, we get there in 45 minutes. When I drive, I get there in an hour. It's not far. Backside. As good as this Mugo is, am I going to be happy to get rid of it? Yes. It's heavy. It needs to be owned by somebody much younger, or have enough help to move these things around. And most of the time I'm working alone. You know, my wife helped me in the weed pulling, but hey, we're not getting any younger around here, so getting rid of these nice but heavy bonsai is a priority. Yeah, well, I mean, Mugo pines are fairly common material, but finding one this big with this nice shape is, I don't think you see a whole lot. Well, you know, even 10 years ago, I was much younger, right? I didn't worry about heavy tree or two. Now I worry about it most, because once you damage your back, it's really hard to recover. And so far I've been fairly good. Occasionally I strain myself, but not to the point where I have chronic pain. And that's the way I want to do, or that's the way I want to retire in good health. Actually, I'm not going to retire because I'm not one that can sit still. I'll have something else, and most likely I'll be on YouTube sharing what I'm doing next. Got a couple ideas, but it's premature. But once this deal comes through, well, you know, in business you don't really count anything till actually you have the money in your hand. But well, this guy seems sincere, and he's got the gumption to actually he's moving from the top. He hasn't really done bonsai much, but he has enough confidence in himself that he's going to just buy up all the good stuff. And that was one of my wishes. I said, gee, I wish somebody that has the financial resources to come and buy a big chunk. So actually this looks like this might be the front, right? It's got a, look at that, nice root flare, right? And then it has this really dramatic turn, and then taper. Once again, it's lacking in fine detailing, but that should come in the next couple years with diligence. And I have to say with diligence because I've had it, but I didn't have the time to actually put all the detail work right. But you could see how this could be in the next couple of years really a great showpiece, as long as they're very strong or have strong friends. Yeah, 20 years ago I would have picked it up. I'm much wiser now. Okay, so this is Hero saying goodbye. This has been the Mugo Pine, probably pushing 40 years old. I did buy this originally from a nursery, I believe.